Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today we are looking at the Apos Caspian headphone. This is a pair of headphones from Apos that is also made by Kennerton. And if you know Kennerton, they are a company that makes some really good quality headphones. I'm going to take a closer look at these in just a few minutes. We're going to go over the specs, build quality, comfort, all that stuff. These are really great looking. Maybe not everybody's cup of tea, but honestly, I think they look really, really nice. These are very nice real wood shells. This is metal. This is all metal. This is actually sheepskin. We'll get over that shortly. Some PU leather and bio leather. Just really well made headphones. Looking at them in a nutshell, we're going to go over the specs, if I can bring that up. Okay, where are the specs on here that I put up? Here we go. Now, as I said, these were manufactured by Kennerton Audio. So they have Kennerton drivers in them. The driver is a graphene-coated multi-layer composite dynamic driver. It's a 50 millimeter dynamic driver. It's a big driver. And the frequency response is 5 to 45,000 hertz. That's 45,000 kilohertz. Sensitivity is 115 decibels at 33 ohms. Maximum input power is 500 milliwatts. And the ear cup, the padding, it says ear cup outer material. The padding is natural sheepskin leather, so soft and so plush that you may never want to take these off, to be honest. I'm not trying to sound like a commercial, but I guess it is coming across like one. These are really soft pads. Let me just put it in my own words. I don't want to hype this out. This is a decent headphone. Okay, this isn't the end-all be-all headphone in the universe, but this one is made pretty darn well. So anyway, these are super soft. They're like pillows for your ears. Nice memory foam there, that sheepskin. Some good, as you can see, I can put my fingers in there. Some good dimensions to them. I would think they'd fit mostly 99% of the people. You'd have to have some really huge ears for these not to fit in your ear. The grill right here, this is aluminum. The cup itself is oak. The yoke on here and the internal of the headband is stainless steel. This is there's some polyurethane foam, and they have good quality foam. As you can see, it's not memory foam, but it is some really nice foam to get that pressure points off your head. And this is natural leather, and then there's bio leather. The only plastic parts of this right here and this part on the yoke, those are the only plastic parts. The whole thing is made out of what they call sustainable materials, kind of like what House of Marley does, EMF, Kennerton themselves. They make this stuff out of wood and metal and leather and just natural materials that you find out there. Not a lot of plastic parts to throw away, and either recycle or non-recyclable parts. They're great. The thickness of these pads, not as thick as the EMF's pads, but these pads are plush nonetheless. These pads are 1 inch thick. That's 27 millimeters. We'll get into the external dimensions of the pads. 4.5 inches by 3.4 inches, which is 115 millimeters by 88 millimeters. They're good sized pads. They're not the hugest pads in the market, but they're far from the smallest. I have had a lot of full size headphones that have pads half the size of this, and even though they say they're over ear, they're kind of in between over and on ear. I'm trying to think of another pair. The Sennheiser Urbanites, kind of in between on over ear. with those. I'm talking about the extra larges. The pads were comfortable. They were that, what is it called, a la carte or whatever that material, the suede material. I personally don't like it because it's like wearing a lint brush on your ear, and if you have pets or anything else, it's just going to be all over the pads. I prefer vinyl, leather, or cloth pads, to be quite honest. But I can see where velvet comes in handy because it does change the sound signature in a way. Speaking of pads, you're not going to need pads for a long time with these, to be quite honest. These pads should last you quite some time. But it's an easy enough shape to find another pair of pads. Maybe, if you're vegan or something and you don't want to have these, you want to change out. I have seen a dozen other pads out on the market, especially like cloth ones and vegan-friendly ones from ZMF as well. Cable-wise, now this comes with a nice leather carrying case, and I'm going to move this out of the way of the box. And you also see the box is nondescript. It's just a simple box. It's got some good graphics, some information. It says Caspian. I've got a lot of boxes that are like that, and there's some great headphones inside, like Fostex and Taconi and stuff like that. Here's your nice pack that it comes with. Here's your carrying case. As you can see, inside there are some pouches. If you probably can't see because the lighting is horrible now that I've been doing this a dozen times and it's nighttime. There's the inside pouch, and then there's a pouch up at the top. You could put like a DAP or something in there. It's got a shoulder strap that comes with it. Matter of fact, it's right in here. Just a simple nylon shoulder strap. And that comes inside. Inside is padded, kind of almost like what you'd get in a camera bag. So it is good quality. I'm going to put that off to the side. Put that box back. I'm going to show you the cable. The cable is also made by Kenergen, by the way. Here you have your little XLRs. Very thick, kind of nylon-y cable. I mean, could be Kevlar, but I think it's nylon. Thick cable, nice big splitter there. And you get the full-size 6.35 full-size plug. So it's a nice cable. This is a great cable for indoors. However, I wouldn't recommend this cable for traveling. If you're going to take these, and I know these are open back, but a lot of people take open backs now, especially if you got the music up and you're listening to it at a decent level, and it just fills your ear canal. You don't really hear too much of the outside noise, but it's nice that you can hear some of the noise because you don't want to end up walking in front of a bus or something. So people are taking these out. It used to be a rule of thumb, closed back for outdoors, open back for indoors. People are breaking that, especially with Grado coming out with a wireless that's open back. So I like this cable a lot, but for indoors. That's the caveat with this. Indoors, I would definitely invest in one of their flow cables that Apos has, because those have more flexibility, and then you can get them customized with whatever termination you want. I would suggest like a 4.4 if you're running balanced amps like I have here, the HIP and the TK2, for traveling or just walking around the house. Suppose you don't want to be tied down to a desk. You don't want to run a 30-foot cable. So you want something that you can put a little portable in your pocket and just do your chores, wash the dishes, paint the house, whatever you're doing. Although I wouldn't suggest painting with these on because these really are an upscale kind of headphone. These are kind of mid-fi range at the $499 price that they're selling for. Let's see. I've got some more specs for you. All natural oak ear cups, sourced from the North Caucasus Mountains. Inch deep sheepskin ear pads. Acoustic memory foam inner lining. Stainless steel yoke and headband. Natural leather headband for all-day comfort. Aluminum alloy grill. Graphene-coated multi-layer composite membrane with variable thickness. Car coil aluminum coated with oxygen-free copper and internal LITS wiring. So that's just, there is a lot of good stuff thrown into this. Let's just get it at that point. I think I need to go back up. So I want to show you a quick shot of the frequency. If we can get that up there. There you go. There's your frequency graph. And then I'm going to bring that down because the screen is so bright, it seems to be making my lights even worse. So here we go, some more natural lighting. So all right, so you get aluminum grill, you get some beautiful oak, natural oak cups. They're stained and finished. You get some very sturdy XLRs, mini XLRs right there. Some really cushiony pads, and the headband has a decent cushion to it as well. And of course, overall construction is perfect. So if I was going to rate this 1 to 5 in construction, I would have to go with 4.9, only because, you know, you got to save some room for the even more expensive headphones. But these would definitely be in the top tier of really well-made headphones. Now, comfort-wise, they do have a little bit of weight to them for headphones, but that said, the pads and the design, this is a popular design. The DTs have a similar yoke to this and similar headband. It's that way because it supports the weight really well. And it also has some good adjustment there as well. Nice click to it. So comfort-wise, you can wear these all day. I did wear these all day. It's not recommended to wear headphones all day long, but come on, a lot of times we do. A lot of times we go from one pair of headphones to another pair of headphones, or at least I do. I'll wear these, and then I'll jump into gaming or something like that when I'm not testing them. That being said, when I was testing these, I kept these on the whole time, jumping in the game, jumping into movies. So media consumption, movies, gaming, music. These worked well for all of those. I found that their comfort was very good, especially with these pads. No pressure points on this pad for my head. And, you know, I don't exactly have the boniest head in the world, but sometimes pressure points bother me. It didn't bother me, even with the weight of these wood cups. Overall, actually, compared to some other headphones, there was actually even plastic headphones that I had that were actually heavier than this at one point. So it's got a good weight distribution going on there. It's got good flexibility. There's obviously these pivot forward. There's not a lot of side pivot, but the pads help with that as well. And the fit was good. I got some good isolation, even with glasses, because of this memory foam just contouring to them. Even with glasses, it was fine. So construction and comfort definitely would be up there from 1 to 5. I'm going to go with 4.9 because they do that good of a job. And I saved the room, that other little 0 point for, you know, if I get Maze and Perians or something much more expensive. We want to be realistic with this. This is a good looking pair. It's solid and it's comfortable. Now, there are a lot of really good pairs out there. Better than this probably, but for the money, maybe not. I'm not going to get your expectations up with the sound signature either. Now, it even says on the box, these are designed to be fun. Don't think of that you're paying $500 and you're getting the end all. You're going to sit down and you're going to hear every single note of a concerto or something like that. That isn't what these were made for. These were made to look good, be solid. Typical Kenerton looks good, solid, and they're made for a fun sound, whereas Kenertons have different tunings for different things, but these were made to be fun. That meaning, what is a fun sound? What does a fun sound consist of? It consists of hearing the frequencies, you know, with some emphasis, usually in the bass, maybe a little bit of emphasis in treble, maybe the mids pushed forward. That said, the mids aren't really forward on this. They're kind of in the middle. They're extremely clear. The lower mids having some warmth. But mids are excellent with these. There's some really good emotion there in the mids. And see if I can get off of that and get into my notes on these, because I do take notes. So the 50 millimeter driver on this, the minute you think of that, you're going to know that this is good for bass. And it is. It can do bass very well. You can hear everything about the bass. The bass is highly detailed. It's got some really good depth. That said, it has control. There's no muddiness. There's no just mucky mids because of the bass. The bass has some really good depth, power, and control. You're talking about mid bass. There's some good punch and speed there. There's some good weightness to it. It's got a good weight. Tonality overall with the bass. It's powerful, but controlled. That meaning that you will have the depth, and bass heads will definitely be happy with this, but people that aren't bass heads will be happy with it as well, unless you're really into the neutral. This is not neutral. If you're into neutral, look at a different headphone. Look at the Ananda, because that you're looking at something more toward the neutral kind of thing. This thing is just made to enjoy the music and not to overthink anything. Just sit back and enjoy it. You're going to get all the bass punching away, vibrating, not so much as some other pairs. I mean, there's a lot of pairs that do bass quite well. Looking at those JVCs, the wood JVCs, those things will vibrate your ear off. But that said, that does come with some caveats. It'll be fatiguing. This bass has been tuned to be non-fatiguing, but yet still powerful enough to give you the response that you want. And that's a tough thing to tune, because you don't want to go over and you don't want to go under. If you go over, you get muddy. If you get under, you get a bass that's just not much of a bass response there. So looking at that, moving into the mids, like I said, there's some good emotion with the mids. Those mini XLR connectors are really cool too. Those actually come in handy. Although I'm not a big fan of proprietary connectors, because, obviously you can't move them from one to another unless you have another pair that has the mini XLRs. Where is my assessment? Sorry, folks, I'm doing this with my opposite hand, so... Okay, so my assessment was that the bass on this had very good control to it, but yet it also had very good depth to it. I'm going to try to keep this simple and underhyped. They're good for that. If you want a fun pair of headphones, you want to get something that's more upscale, that's fun sounding, that has an A on it instead of a B, that's actually made out of wood and not plastic, and that's going to last you a long time. You have these here, and they're not designed for analyzing every single last detail, but that doesn't say that they don't have details. Like I said, the bass will show you all the different things in the bass. You can hear those. Listening to some things like the drum solo in the Led Zeppelin song I was listening to, I was just throwing all kinds of songs in it, not necessarily listening to just classic rock. I never listen to just one thing of music. I go from pop, and sometimes it's bands I've never even heard of, and then I say, oh, this is a new song. I like this. I like the music. Sometimes I don't like the lyrics, but I like the music. Sometimes I like both. And I'm listening to that. I'm listening to some classic, and I'm listening to some K-pop and pop and boy bands, everything in between that I can think of to throw at this classical music and all that. And this does well in a lot of things. And this is mainly for like pop, hip-hop, jazz does an excellent job. And you get the bass. It's powerful. It's controlled. You get the mid-range. It's got a lot of emotion there. It's got some good timbre there. There's good separation with the instruments. And it's just a really natural sounding mids. Vocals really good. Not really pushed forward, but not really held back either. They're definitely not a lot of recession there. And then we get into the high frequencies. They got sparkle, there's airiness, a good extension, but then it rolls off quickly to be, not to have any harshness or sibilance there, which is good. It says here that they rolled off. It says they have a dip between 2K and 7 kilohertz just to keep you from, the harshness and trouble-sensitive people. So this is made with a lot of things in mind, and they're made for you to listen for a long period of time. By the way, soundstage imaging, very good on these as well. Overall, they just have a really pleasant sound signature that you can listen to for an extended period of time without that fatigue, but without the loss of enjoying the bass, enjoying the treble, enjoying the mids. I like that because there's a lot of things that are tuned like really, really, really neutral. And while they do sound good and you can use them for certain things, they lack certain things as well. So that said, I like these, to be quite honest. I don't think everyone's going to like these, especially people that are, really into the thing and that. I'm going to drop this for a minute because I just don't like the way the lighting, I don't know, something about that. Maybe it's also because it's in night mode now, so it's giving off some kind of yellow hue I don't like. I literally been trying to make this video all day and keep getting interrupted. That's the fun of not actually having a studio. Hopefully that's going to change soon. That said, wanted to keep it simple. You want a fun sounding pair of headphones. A pair of headphones that has a really, really pleasant sense of the frequencies. You get your bass, you get your mids nice and clear, a little hint of warmth there, some really, strong punch in the bass without going too far, and some sparkle in the highs without overdoing it and without an overextension and harshness. And that's what you get with these. And then we also combine the fact that they're made by Kenogen. They're solid as a tank. You got mini XLRs. You got leather sheepskin pads. You got oak cups and all metal fittings and leather and wood. I mean, you really, honestly, these are a premium pair that's targeted toward fun. Now, there's a lot of premium pairs. I mean, right up on the screen, I got my Sennheiser 800s. Those are obviously targeted toward that serious listening session. These are not targeted toward that. If you want something that's neutral and targeted toward every detail, these are definitely not for you. If you want something that's made traveling, you could use these, but remember they're open back and that stock cable just really isn't travel friendly. Without trying to hype these, I think these are great. To be quite honest, I love the build. I love the wood. And the signature is just very enjoyable. I could see me using these for a long time for movies, gaming, you name it. They'd be good. So that said, I definitely would give these my approval. This has been the Apos Caspian, and I'm going to leave the link down below for these. Hopefully you stay safe, and I will see you somewhere on the internet. Thank you so much.